Hey there, I just made myself a cup of coffee, and I can't think of anyone I'd rather share this peaceful morning moment with than all of you.
That coffee smells amazing, Alex. And you know what else feels amazing? Being here for another Blue Mountain morning with everyone.
It's Wednesday, December 18th, and we've got such an interesting show lined up today. From some eye opening tech security news to a really inspiring story about alternative paths to success.
Yeah, and you're going to love our reflection on finding some digital balance in our lives. It's something I've been thinking about a lot lately.
We've carefully picked out stories that'll help you start your day with clarity and purpose, and maybe even a fresh perspective or two.
So grab that morning coffee, find your comfortable spot, and let's dive into today's Blue Mountain morning together. Let's take a look at what's making headlines today. And there are some pretty significant developments we should talk about.
Yeah, and I noticed the hush money case against Trump is getting interesting. There's some new movement there, right?
That's right. A New York judge just ruled that Trump isn't immune from prosecution in the hush money case. It's actually pretty significant because Trump's legal team was trying to get the whole thing dismissed, but, well, that didn't work out for them.
And there's also some really concerning news from Wisconsin that we should mention.
Yeah, this is a tough one. We had talked about this during yesterday's show. Police have identified the suspect in a Wisconsin grade school shooting as a 15-year-old female student. 3 people, including the suspect, have died. The authorities are still working to understand the motive, and they've been talking with the family and searching the suspect's home.
God, that's just heartbreaking. There's also been a development in that UnitedHealth case.
Right. They've actually just charged the suspect with first-degree murder in the shooting of the UnitedHealth CEO. The investigation's moving pretty quickly on that one.
These are some heavy stories today. I think it's worth noting that law enforcement is actively involved in all these cases, and there are processes in place.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what's interesting? Each of these stories, while difficult, shows how our justice system responds to different types of challenges, from high-profile political cases to tragic local events.
That's actually a really good point, Mark. It kind of helps put things in perspective, doesn't it? Speaking of security and public safety, there's this really interesting warning the FBI just put out about text messages that I think everyone needs to hear about.
Oh yeah, this is actually pretty concerning. The FBI's saying that hackers connected to China's government are getting into telecom networks and basically stealing people's text message data.
Wait, like regular text messages that we send every day?
Exactly. And you know what's wild? It's not just the messages. They're potentially getting access to location data and call records too. The FBI is particularly concerned because, this isn't just random hacking. It's a coordinated effort.
That's honestly kind of terrifying. Like, most of us use text messaging for everything these days.
Right. And here's the thing. The FBI is actually telling Americans to start using end-to-end encryption for their messages. Apps like Signal or WhatsApp that have better security built in.
I've heard about those, but can you explain what end-to-end encryption actually means for people who might not know?
So basically, it means that only you and the person you're messaging can read what's being sent. Even if someone intercepts the message, it's just gibberish to them without the special key to decode it.
Okay, that makes sense, but I'm guessing most people don't have this set up right now?
No, they don't. And that's the bigger issue here. We've got this massive vulnerability in our everyday communication, and most Americans don't even realize it. Like, think about all the sensitive stuff people text about. Banking details, personal information, work stuff.
And I guess this isn't just about personal privacy anymore, right? This is actually a national security concern?
Exactly. When you've got foreign governments potentially accessing millions of Americans' private communications, that's a whole different level of problem. The good news is, though, that the solution is pretty straightforward. Just switching to encrypted messaging apps can make a huge difference.
Mark, there's something really interesting happening in the education world right now that a lot of our listeners liked hearing about yesterday.
Oh yeah, apprenticeships are having this incredible moment. We've talked about this yesterday, and I just saw some fascinating data about how they're becoming this really viable alternative to the traditional college path.
But there's kind of a catch to it all, isn't there?
Yeah, that's the thing. The demand is absolutely exploding. You've got all these Americans looking for hands-on training and a way to earn while they learn, but there's actually not enough employers offering these programs.
I think that might surprise some people. Wouldn't companies want to train their own talent?
You'd think so, and some companies are absolutely crushing it with apprenticeship programs. But setting them up isn't exactly simple. You need mentors, structured training programs, the whole deal. It's a real investment.
What kind of fields are we talking about here? Like, is this just for traditional trades?
Oh no, that's what's so cool about this trend. We're seeing apprenticeships pop up in tech, healthcare, finance. I mean, there's this company in Chicago that's running this amazing cybersecurity apprenticeship program. Their graduates are landing jobs with six-figure salaries.
That's actually incredible. So, for our listeners who didn't have the chance to listen in on yesterday's show and who might be interested in this path,
Yeah, so here's the really practical advice. Start by checking out the Department of Labor's Apprenticeship Finder. There's also these new intermediary organizations that help connect people with programs. And don't be afraid to reach out directly to companies you're interested in. Sometimes they might even create a program if enough people show interest.
and I guess the big advantage is no student debt, right?
Exactly. You're earning a paycheck while getting real-world experience. And most apprentices end up with a job offer at the end. It's kind of like getting paid to job hunt if you think about it. So, Alex, I was watching the sunrise this morning through my window, and it got me thinking about something.
Oh yeah? What's that?
Well, we spend so much time looking at our screens, notifications constantly pulling at our attention. But nature, it's got this totally different rhythm to it. Like, the sun's gonna rise whether we check our phones or not.
That's actually really profound. And I've noticed my shoulders get tense every time my phone buzzes.
Exactly. So here's what I started doing. I've been treating my morning like that sunrise. Slow, steady, purposeful. Just taking those first 15 minutes to, just be present.
I love that. Any specific tips for our listeners who might want to try this?
Yeah, so here's something super simple. Before you grab your phone in the morning, take 3 deep breaths and notice something in nature. Could be the way trees are swaying, or even just the pattern of clouds in the sky.
And you know what's amazing? Every single state in our country has its own unique natural beauty to observe.
Absolutely. Whether you're in the Arizona desert or the Maine coastline, there's always something grounding right outside your window. It's like nature's own version of a reset button.
That's such a gentle way to start the day.
And here's the thing. You don't have to go off-grid or anything dramatic. Just create these little pockets of peace throughout your day, like taking a moment to feel the wind on your face during your lunch break, or watching a bird build its nest while you're waiting for your coffee to brew.
As we wrap up today's Blue Mountain Morning, I just want to say how grateful we are to share these moments with all of you.
Yeah, it's honestly the highlight of my day, getting to sit here with my buddy Alex and just break down what's happening in our world together.
And we'll be right back here tomorrow morning with more stories that matter, more moments of clarity, and hopefully a few more laughs.
Oh, definitely more laughs. And maybe I'll actually remember to bring you that coffee I keep promising.
Ha! I'm not holding my breath on that one. But seriously, folks, thanks for starting your day with us.
Until tomorrow morning, this is Mark.
And Alex, wishing you a peaceful rest of your day. Take care, everyone.